where did you go when the pandemic hit? You went to Florida. That's it. We need to protect our farmers. And I don't think we understand that. And that drives me crazy. It's industry. These trucks are not doing anything to at all. Killing us. And they kill the children. They run over the school buses. They bus ran off the road yesterday at 84. The citizens of our election.
There's somebody here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, oh,
Sorry, I know. I'm not saving it though, but yeah, someone's there.
I'll take their spot.
Fix up.
Can you not put your arms up? I have a lot of shots of your arm after.
You want to come sit here?
No, it's fun. I don't hear you. Every time.
That's why I went to get some time on my fucking neck is killing me.
We can make grants back there.
Yeah. So I'm going to move my neck. Yeah, that. I'm just moving around because my fucking neck hurts. But, you want me to do some recording?
Hello.
Check, 1, 2. Could I get a little more vocal and more of Tommy's guitar over here in the monitor? Thank you. Awesome. Hello, can you all hear me?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Would you welcome Miss Molly Tuttle?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you all. It's so great to be here at the Tommy Emmanuel Guitar Camp. This is really exciting. I haven't gotten to do one of these guitar workshops in a little while. I've been kind of busy out there on the road. Are you all having a good weekend so far? Is this the first day of camp?
Yeah.
This is their first official day. Well, yesterday was like orientation,
Oh,
and then
cool.
last night we most of the instructors played for the campers last
Oh,
night.
that's fun.
And the others who didn't play last night will be playing tonight.
Great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So, but it's an honor and a privilege to have you here today.
Thanks for having me. It's an
Yeah.
honor to be here.
So, Molly and I both come from families that played music together, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. So, tell us a bit about your family and your early life as a musician.
Yeah, so I grew up out in California in the Bay Area, and my dad actually grew up in Illinois on a farm, and my grandfather played the banjo and loved bluegrass music. They'd listen to the Grand Ole Opry, and they'd go to bluegrass festivals around Illinois, and my dad kind of grew up in a family band where his sisters played music as well, and his dad played the banjo, and my grandma even, I think she might have played the bass. And so then he kind of left the farm, moved out to California, and was going to go into finance, and ended up walking into a little music store in Palo Alto, California called Griffin Stringed Instruments, which Tommy has frequented. They're always very excited when Tommy comes in there.
It's a great store.
Yeah, they specialize in old vintage guitars, and they have all sorts of stringed instruments. And so my dad walked into the store and picked up a banjo and started playing, and their banjo teacher at the store, they have these little rooms in the back where they have music lessons, and their banjo teacher had just quit, so my dad got the job and ended up just becoming a music teacher and he's still a teacher. He doesn't teach at the store anymore, he's all online and some in-person lessons now at the house, but he's taught since the 80s, and that's his full-time job. So when I was a kid, there were just musical instruments around the house all the time. We'd go into the music store and get to kind of strum on the guitars and mandolins, and I just always gravitated towards playing music. And so when I was 8 years old, my dad brought me back this little baby Taylor guitar from the store and taught me a couple chords, and after that I just became obsessed. So then after a few years of playing, my two younger brothers also started playing music as well, and they're both great musicians. One of them is still touring full-time. My brother Sullivan is a guitar player, and his band AJ Lee and Blue Summit, they're just like all over the place on tour, and so I get to see him out on the road a bunch. But yeah, we used to play in a family band, and yeah, as I was a teenager, we kind of we'd play all over California and sometimes like travel to play gigs in other parts of the country. But it wasn't until I moved to Nashville that I started really touring full time and put my own band together.
All right. It's great to hear that. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Hey, do you still get together to play music with your dad from time to time?
Sometimes, yeah, like around the holidays, sometimes we'll have a jam session. Usually we'll go see my grandma around Christmas, and she's like, you guys have to play for me, so we'll bust out the instruments. My dad actually just came out to my show a couple weeks ago. I played at Cheekwood, which is this beautiful kind of botanical garden place here in Nashville, and so he sat in with me, and my brother Sullivan, his band, opened up the show, so Sully came and played with me too, so it was like a nice little family reunion. Whenever they come out to shows, I make them get on stage and play songs with me.
Yeah. And just as a curiosity, your songwriting has evolved. I can hear that. I can hear how it's evolved. When did you start wanting to be a writer? When did you start writing things?
I started writing when I was 14 or 15 years old. I was like midway through high school, and I remember like my dad and other people who I looked up to, like Lori Lewis and Kathy Kallick, who are two wonderful women out in the Bay Area who write their own songs and lead bluegrass bands. They all were really encouraging me to start to write and kind of find my own voice as a writer, because I sang and played guitar, but I didn't even know how to like approach songwriting. And I remember I just had like writer's block. I was so scared, I didn't know where to start. It's like, it feels like this magical thing when you hear a song, you're like, how did someone come up with that? So I actually took a class at night at this local community college on songwriting, and it was just this whole kind of like ragtag bunch of people of all ages who would get together once a week, and you had like a prompt every week, like a songwriting prompt, and you'd come in and everyone would play their songs for the class. And it was really a supportive, kind of low pressure environment, and that forced me to write my first song.
All right. And who do you listen to get fired up about songs and songwriting and try to, get ideas? Who do you listen to, or what kind of music do you listen to?
Yeah, so with my last two records that were leaning into more like bluegrass sound, I listened to a lot of John Hartford, Gillian Welch, Peter Rowan is one of my favorites, and I just love people who kind of take that traditional style of folk music or bluegrass or American roots music and put their own spin on it and make it sound outside of the box, but at the same time it sounds kind of like in this tradition of music. You feel like it's an old song, but it also sounds brand new at the same time.
Well, your song, The Crooked Tree, that really, I love everything on that album, but that song really speaks to me.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, well, it's so beautifully written, but I love the fact that you've taken something, it's like hugging a cactus. You know what I mean? It's like, you take things that are really, this thing's broken and it's flawed and it's blah blah. Talking about myself, it's flawed and broken, but we've got to find a way of accepting it and hugging it. I love that about that song.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I wanted to ask you this question. From my perspective, I remember the fear I had of playing one of my original songs for the first time to an audience who were used to hearing me playing, covers of famous songs on it, and I slowly put my own songs into the show that I was doing back in the mid-80s.
Yeah.
And I found the courage, but I still remember that fear of, will it work, is it any good, and all that stuff. Did you ever have that?
I think I did, and especially since when I first started writing songs, they didn't really sound like the songs that I was playing live. Like, my songs were just kind of, they sounded a little more like singer-songwriter style, didn't have like a super distinct style to them at all, so they kind of stood out from the other songs that I was performing, and that made it extra scary. I was like, oh, how's this gonna go over? People at my shows are coming for these other songs, and this is like something totally different. And I think just through the years, kind of developing more as a songwriter, I feel like more confident that my songs can like stand on their own with other songs I'm performing.
Do you find, and I definitely find this, that like when I was younger, I wrote like 15 ballads to one up kind of song, right?
Yes, exactly.
And after a while, you realize when you get in front of people, you better have a bit more to say and all that sort of stuff. So that was one of the reasons for my fear, But then when I started writing more up tunes and everything, I found that because the audience loved them, it gave me encouragement to pursue that.
I know. Now I'm trying to like slow down my songs because we start playing. Like, I started kind of figuring out how to write fast songs. It took years and years. So it was the same thing. I'd have a set and I'd want to do a bunch of my originals, but then I'd realize it was like 90% slow ballads, and people were coming to my shows wanting to hear me play fast guitar stuff, and they're like, why are there so many slow, strummy songs in your set? But now it's like the opposite problem, where I write a song and it's slow, and then I play it with my band for 6 months, and every show it gets faster and faster. And they're like, how did it come to this? This was supposed to be a slow, like chill song, and now it's like a barn burner.
Now, with the amount, because you're touring a lot now, and really entering, as an artist, you're entering a great period in your life for a young artist, and it's so awesome to see you doing that, and really you're eating that up,
Thanks.
and it's great.
Thank you.
And when you're working a lot, do you find you have to rest your voice and stuff like that, or you just get up and it just goes?
It kind of depends, yeah. If I'm like doing, I find that like 4 shows in a row I'm good, and then if I do like a 5th show or a 6th show, my voice starts to feel a little kind of weaker.
Well,
I have
tired.
tired. I have to stay really hydrated. I'm not very good at like resting my voice. I don't think I'm not like a chatterbox, but I have a hard time, like if someone talks to me, I want to respond. I don't want to, like, I know certain singers who will go days on vocal rest and not talk to anyone, but yeah, it really just kind of depends, especially like in the winter months when you get a little more run down and it's dry inside. I find that can be hard, and that's when I tend to like get sick or lose my voice.
Okay, right, yeah. Because now, when you become a kind of successful touring artist, now the pressure's on because you're enjoying it and you want to work and you've got to travel and you love the audience and you love playing and everything. But you got to do it every time, to 100. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I know what that's like. And so, I mean, you're a third my age, and you already know how to pace yourself well. I didn't when I was young.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens this
We'll
fall.
see.
I'm about to leave for 5 weeks on tour, so.
People are always asking me about, you know, the song we did together, which you showed me. But by the way, ladies and gentlemen, my guitar teacher right here, she showed me how this song went, because we actually met on a Chiamo Americana kind of cruise, and I was